Be a discourse, it will be a story. I will try to tell you a story about a man called Arjuna and his master, his god Krishna. Okay, so and let's see, but be very humble, have the full faith, and have this devotional mind, because these are not, this is not a story, it is actually the story between Krishna and Arjuna, which is, and in Bhagavad Gita Krishna says that anybody who listens to this dialogue between you and me with faith, he is the person who is going to get realized, who is going to get liberated just by listening to it. So the significance of listening to Bhagavad Gita is very much. So why not listen it like this, so that we can remember it like a movie. If I see a movie, I remember it for my whole life. So why not, we approach Bhagavad Gita in such a way that we listen to Bhagavad Gita and we can remember it for our whole life. Okay, so from yesterday we started this, in Hindi, but today, I'm going to try it. Let's see how it goes. So, we had 2 classes about Bhagavad Gita in English from the first chapter. The first chapter was the melancholy of Arjuna, the grief of Arjuna. Like, Arjuna was a warrior, so he had to fight. So when he came to the battlefield, he wanted to see who are the people against whom he is going to fight. Okay, he wanted to see that who are these people. Let me see. Okay, let me see. Go and see who are the people against whom I'm going to fight. Who are the ones who came to fight against me? And when he went to see them, he saw that these people were his own friends. These people were his own relatives, his own great grandfather, his own master, from whom he has learned the craft of warfare. This, from whom he had got this knowledge of warfare. This man, Dronacharya, was standing against him to fight. So he knew that this fight is not a very normal fight. It's not a very ordinary fight. This is something where either you have to kill or get killed. Okay. So if you are killed, then it's okay, because if I'm killed, it's okay. But if I have to kill, who are the people whom I am going to kill? I am going to kill those people whom I worship. I am going to kill those people whom I adore. I am going to kill those people with whom I want to enjoy my life. This war, why is this war? This war is for this, for a piece of land. So after this war is being won, then what we have to do, we will enjoy this piece of land. So while enjoying this piece of land, I need my friends. You can have many things, many treasures, but if you want to enjoy, the best is when you can share those with your friends, with your family, with your relatives, with people whom you love. And if there is nothing, if there is nobody with whom you can share, then you don't actually feel the happiness. So Arjuna saw that these are the people with whom I plan to enjoy my life, I plan to enjoy the kingdom, and I'm going to kill them. This is impossible. And just by the thought of their not being present in this world, he got absorbed into the ocean of grief to such a degree where he cannot move. His body became completely nervous. His body became completely cold. He started to shake. And the Gandiv, the bow, his famous bow was Gandiv. The Gandiv fell down from his hands. His skin started to burn. And these are the things, and he could not stand at all. He sat down and he said that I'm not going to fight. It's not possible for me to fight. And he started to cry. And while he started to cry, he completely, just immersed into depression, into grief, into darkness. So, now means when Arjuna is speaking, saying this, that I'm not going to fight, these are the things which are happening to me. So he is saying this to Krishna, the Lord, his master, his guru, his his friend. And Krishna allowed him, Krishna allowed him to say whatever he wanted to say. He did not stop him at all. And he was saying, from one point to the other, what will happen in all this way, so on and so forth. He was going on, blah, 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 blah. And Krishna never said a word. He just waited for his turn. When he said that I cannot fight, and when he went into, this deep ocean of sadness, at that time Krishna was very sad also, with a huge compassion. First of all, Krishna wanted to, challenge his failure, challenge his courage, because he's a courageous man. He's a very bold man. He's a brave man. He's a great warrior. So he's a warrior. He has to fight. So what do you do when you make a warrior fight? You challenge him. You challenge him. You tease him. So first Krishna teased him. Krishna said that don't say these words. Don't say these unmanlyhood words. You are speaking like an unmanlyhood person. You don't have any manhood within you. Hey, come on, wake up. Wake up from this darkness. Just reject this darkness. Just leave this darkness and come out. Come out into light and fight. Because whatever you are thinking, this is not what the Aryans think. The Aryans does not think like you. You are thinking, or you are doing exactly the opposite as the Aryans do. And you say that if you fight, we are going to attain hell. It's not that. If you don't fight, then you are not carrying your own dharma. You are not carrying your own dharma, and if you don't carry out your own dharma means your responsibilities. You have come to this battlefield to fight. There are reasons why this war has come to this point, where there are reasons why between these two families war was inevitable. It was all they have their own reasons, and Arjuna seemed to forget everything. Just he was completely focused on Bhishma, his great grandfather, and his master Drona. That's it. Those are the two people whom he only cared, and he forgot everything. But Krishna was God. Krishna is God. He does not forget anything. He knows that though Bhishma and Drona are really noble person, they are representing adharma. They are representing untruthfulness. They are representing evil forces, dark forces, those forces who only want to enjoy for themselves, who don't want to share, who are burning with jealousy, selfishness, ego. For the long term, these people will bring destruction to the whole world. So they have to be eliminated, and that is why this war was inevitable. Krishna knew this. So while Arjuna was completely like absorbed into the sea of grief, then Krishna, first of all, he challenged him. Hey, come out of this. But when he challenged him, then also Arjuna was indifferent. He said that, see, it's not possible for me to fight, because this Bhishma and Drona, they are my great grandfather. They are my own father, my grandfather. I have grown up in their laps, in his laps. He's the best, he's the best man in my life. I love him so much. It's not possible for me to fight with arrows. Like when I'm fighting them with arrows, that means either they are going to be killed, or they are going to kill me. So it's a question of life and death. I don't want to go with my my own great grandfather or my teacher up to this extent, where there is a question of life and death. But while he was saying this, something happened within Arjuna. Because Arjuna was a very pious man, he was a very religious man, he was a very truthful man. So truth always, always helps you, truth always assists you, truth always guides you, even when you are in your worst condition. Then also your truthfulness, like in India we say dharma rakshati rakshita. Like if you protect dharma, if you carry on your own dharma diligently, sincerely, then dharma is also going to protect you. Swami Vivekananda said that the only one protective force is your truthfulness. If you are truthful, that is the only protective force that you have always within you, and that will always protect you. So these virtues, what we talk about, it's not in vain. It doesn't go in vain. It helps you at the time of adversity, when you are in the midst of complete opposite situation, where you are in the midst of complete opposite situation, where nothing is working for you. That is the time when you see that these virtues are helping you. These virtues are helping you. They are helping you to get rid of this situation. They are helping you to go beyond this situation, and that is how you get liberated from these situations. Okay. So while he was saying this, that I cannot fight, it's not possible for me to fight, it's better that they kill me, that's it. They kill me and I want to get killed from them, but I don't want to kill them at all. So while he was saying this, at one point suddenly he realized that he was mistaken. His whole thing, his whole this intellect, his whole wisdom was mistaken, and his wisdom was completely moving into the reverse direction. It had to be in this forward direction, it was just moving in the reverse direction. And that is why this is what Arjuna said, and this is the cause of this great knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So Arjuna said, Karpanna dosho apahata swabhava prichhami tvam sadharma sangmora cheta yashveyasyanishchitam bruhi tanme shishyaste hamsadi matvam prapanyam. This is what he said. He said that, see, my intellect is completely overtaken by one bug, by one virus. Like now we are overtaken by coronavirus. So my intellect has been taken away. My intellect has been hypnotized by one bug. And what is that? It is called Karpanna dosha. It's a fault. It's a fault. It's a fault by default. Something happened within my brain, something happened within my mind, and it's completely working in the reverse direction. It's called Karpanya. Karpanya means one who does not know, or one who is not aware about his own aim of life. What is the aim of our life? The aim of our life is to know the truth. The aim of our life is to work whatever comes. Hello.
You are back, Swamiji. Yes.
Yeah, there was one phone call. This is normal. So, where I was? Where was I? Hello.
The aim of life.
Okay. The aim of life. Okay. The aim of life is to realize who we are. Is to realize the truth. Is to know the truth. Our aim of life is to know what is the truth. who we are, from where did we come, and where are we going? What is our destiny? What is our origination? What is the one that we carry with us? What are the qualities that we have? What is this, what is this possession that we have? This is our aim of life. But, he completely forgot. And that is why, we do all our activities, we do all our dharma, we carry out our dharma, we carry out our responsibilities. All the responsibilities that has been given to us, we carry out only to know who we are. And he says that, see, my intellect, my wisdom has been overtaken by, this river. It has gone into the reverse direction. I forgot who I am. I forgot my own purpose of life. And then, Prichhami tvam dharma sangmoda cheta. And that is why I am asking you. Because I am completely deluded about my own actions. What kind of action I need to do, I forgot. I am deluded. I'm stuck. I don't know which way to take, whether this way or that way. And that is why I'm asking you. What I'm asking you? Yashreyasannishchitam bruhitan me. Tell me, which is going to do good to me? Which path is going to do is going to bring good for me? Which path should I partake so that I reach the most preferable path? I reach the path to glory. So what is that path which I should partake? Shishyasteham sadhima tvam prapanyam. I am your disciple. I am a devotee. And that is why I want to know. After Arjuna said this, Krishna started to speak. After this also Arjuna continued for 2 or 3 slokas, but that is not that important because this is the crux. This is what it was. And Krishna was also waiting for that point, where Arjuna is going to surrender. Here Arjuna is completely surrendered. Shishyasteham sadhima tvam prapanyam. I surrender before you. I'm a devotee. I'm a disciple. I'm a student. I'm a boy. I'm your son. You tell me. I completely surrender on your feet. You tell me what to do and how to do. So from here, Krishna takes the reins into his hands, and he starts to speak to Arjuna. First of all, he wanted to hit him hard, because Arjuna was lost into this grief. Grief means the fear of losing. Grief does not mean losing, because you don't lose anything. We think that we lose, but you don't lose. Why you don't lose? Because there is nothing to lose. Because there is nothing which dies. In this world, there is nothing which destroys. Everything is indestructible. Everything is indestructible. So you don't lose anything. We say that this person has